Jackson Pollock. Like that.
Today we're sitting down with artist Cavier in his Queens studio.
Born in Detroit, Michigan, Cavier is a multi-talented artist who works across a variety of mediums.
He pursued modeling and photography before rediscovering his childhood passion, painting.
Cavier has worked with a variety of brands, including Saks Fifth Avenue, where his artwork was displayed in the store, in the windows, and across the lookbooks.
His vibrant work showcases personal, political, and social issues.
So thank you so much for having us today. We're so excited to learn more about your practice.
Glad to have you guys. Thank you for coming, and yeah, we here.
We're here.
We're going to start with a curated chatter 3.
So these are 3 questions that we like to ask everyone at the start of every interview.
Right.
So starting us off, do you have a favorite museum?
Yes, actually, I would like to say I love MoMA. I love them. They have all the favorite artists from Picasso to Roy Lichtenstein to Walcott, and just the list goes on. Francis Bacon, so I love those artists, and they speak to me in volume, and I get to see de Kooning, have all those different artists in there. It just speaks in volumes of one day hopefully I can have my art in there, and I think that just speaks into history of being an artist. You would like to in some way connect with the greats, and going to that particular museum has a special place. It was, the first museum I actually went to in New York, and it just really, really, really on my birthday actually. So it was kind of really, really love it.
Yeah, it is a very special place,
especially with the remodel now.
Yeah,
there's so much more room for artists to enter.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, now a fun question. What's your coffee shop order?
Man, you know what? I just like the Dunkin' Donuts. Just the iced coffee with, a little sugar and call it a day and milk. That's it. And I
Easy.
Call it a day. I love it. I had one this morning.
Amazing.
And our final question is, do you have a really early art memory?
My first earliest memory, it was probably my mother. She's an art teacher, and she was, pretty strict. She would do all the murals at the school, and, that was, to me, it was very, my mom's, like I told you guys earlier, she's short, 4'11". She was painting these murals just larger than my paintings, like, for the school, like, public walls and stuff like that. And I remember one time I got to actually help her paint it, so she would paint, like, Looney Tune characters and stuff like that. And, that stuck out to me, believe it or not.
Yeah. How would you describe your work for our audience that's unfamiliar with it?
I would describe my work as being something that is, it's very emotional, very expressive, and at that time it's just a true reflection of me and where I'm at in my life. And, I think that's very important, is just to be honest with yourself as an artist. And I've been able to kind of bridge that together, and it's been something that's been effective and been able to connect a new audience and still doing that. So I think that's something I would kind of steer along with, new people that's taking interest in my work, basically.
Yeah. And then dead or alive, who are some artists that inspire you in your practice?
Well, I love Jackson Pollock. I love, obviously, Basquiat. I love Picasso. I love de Kooning, like I said earlier, Lichtenstein. I can go on. And I believe, these artists set something that was very powerful for us still hundreds of years, some of them hundreds of years later. And I think it's going to always matter. So I think the future of artists it has to speak in that same volume. And I think, as an emerging talent, I believe we all have a responsibility as artists to kind of convey that same message that they were doing during their time.
Yeah, it's a continuation.
You're right.
For sure.
How do your own experiences inspire your work?
I would say my own experiences really inspire my work by just my challenges of, being being raised in Detroit, Michigan. That was something that was, it was pretty it's pretty hard going up there, and being able to relocate to Atlanta, Georgia. Then, when I got into my adult stages, I moved over to South Africa, where I believe I had a breakthrough with my vision and just being creatively, inspired to just want to paint, to make music, and do all these things that was just inside of me. And I think me being on my own and being in the mother city kind of connected those dots, to be honest. And I think is now me just kind of just reassuring my creativity identity, basically. So.
And then sort of what you hinted at in that response, how you work across multiple mediums. Do you have a favorite? I know you do photography as well as painting.
Wow. Yeah, everyone asks that question. I'm kind of biased to it because it's like I like doing them all, because one day I might not actually want to paint. I might not have the energy or creative expression that's there. So some days I might just want to make a beat or call a friend or call an agency to get a model, just someone I can experiment with lighting setups. Something I always kind of keep my mind just kind of flourishing, basically.
Yeah.
So I never really put a favorite on them or because they all kind of hold their own ground, basically. They're different mediums, but I believe they all deserve the same respect, basically.
It's really cool that you can work across so many mediums.
Yeah. And interchangeably,
exactly.
Like day to day.
Right.
But is there any theme that shines through all of these mediums, that all of these mediums have in common, like in your work, or it changes based on the medium?
Well, I would say, yes, it changes in a way, but I believe they all kind of, they balance each other. I believe with my music, there's a theme of, obviously, I'm high emotionally, so I'm always challenging, the viewer expression, to feel that there's really tension or some discourse along the story message. And I believe I give that, from painting to also photography, also to music. However, I try to separate it in some kind of way, if that makes any sense. But I believe the theme of it is just real emotions, real feelings of what I'm actually feeling. I think that's organic to myself, basically.
So due to the recent outbreak of COVID-19, there's obviously been a shift in the way art is being experienced. Have you noticed a shift within your own practice?
Totally. I've been able to have more time with my work and just honestly dig deep spiritually and connect with the things that's kind of, I would say, that's part of and relevant in culture right now in society. So I've been just trying to put things more iconic imagery. I did something with, with a kind of something that resemblance of Harriet Tubman, and just kind of putting these pop icon things into my art, from Tom and Jerry, and just to kind of bring that void but saying, that old feeling we used to feel back in the nostalgicness of art, really. And I just want to connect that, and I had a deeper thought process, and I didn't feel so distracted during Corona. So I was just doing the things that came to my mind. It was like, paint Tom and Jerry, paint Jesus, paint this, and I just had that more, just act on it and just following through, really. And I think that was important, just the calmness of what Corona gave us, and I think I took advantage of the time that was given.
Kind of as a follow-up, do the restrictions prevent you from doing projects that you had planned, or did it really just help you?
I mean, yeah, it stopped a couple things, but in my mind, it was about the work. At the end of the day, it didn't stop me from making work, and I was able to continue to make pieces. I was ordering canvases from Blake, and just kept it going. If anything else was, I always had paint, so I just kept myself busy and just basically racking up the numbers, basically.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there a piece that's particularly meaningful to you right now?
Yes, I have a piece called Jesus Watch, and like I said, it was a piece about, just spirituality and religion, and all the things that we kind of facing right now. And I just want to elaborate on that a little more.
Please.
And during that time, it was just something that, I just felt like the world was kind of facing more of an evil kind of thing. And I just wanted to give something, not even if you fully believe in Jesus or anything like that, but I wanted to give some type of calming mechanism to like that peace, in the sense of like that it's going to be okay, that there's some type of hope. And I think I was able to achieve that through that painting, basically.
Did your experience as a model shape your art in a way, or?
That's a good question, actually. I would say not really, because like I said earlier, I look at them in two different things. Only thing I can say, like modeling, it made me more free. It gave me like a sense of like I don't really care what people think, because modeling is an image thing, and I believe my paintings are an image, but it's something that I'm actually regurgitating and making, opposed to like modeling being used as a muse. But at the same time, there's a certain liberation with doing both and freedom doing both. And I think you just gotta balance the energy, and when you actually doing those multiple things.
So how do you use social media right now and just in general to promote yourself as an artist, and then also to interact with like the greater artist community? Because I feel like there is a community on Instagram.
Oh, totally. One, I've been having Instagram since it started 10 years, and it took a while to actually be able to use it for my platform to be effectively, to target the right people and through, for my art. And actually, I think it's important to have a clean and just real like understanding of who you are as a brand and how you actually represent yourself and how you put that out. And I think I became very more effective in just, what I'm posting, what I'm hashtagging, who I'm tagging. I believe those things are very, effective and promising if you do it right.
A little follow-up, do people buy your art over Instagram?
Oh, of course.
Yeah?
Of course,
Okay.
of course. I get a lot of sales off Instagram. Sometimes I do targeting ads, and I get sometimes random people just don't even know me, but they see the piece and they like, wow, I love it, blah, blah, blah. And I refer them to my website, and next thing you know, I got to sell. So it's very effective, but you must have other things that follow up from like a website to, having your website line with your Instagram to have, I take very much pride in those things, and they little, but they matter in the grand scheme if you're really taking your brand serious.
Speaking of brands, you've collaborated with Puma multiple times, so could you tell us a little bit more about that relationship and specifically your latest project on plywood on their Fifth Avenue storefront?
Right. I started working with Puma, actually, I'll say maybe 6 years ago. I started initially as a photographer with them, and I started shooting events with them. I was getting invited to all these exclusive parties. It's crazy. So I'd be also an event photographer. So I would just, they would use my photos for that. And so eventually, I ended up doing a little Instagram campaign for them, and they actually loved it. It was better than what they thought, because they gave me full creative control. And then that led into maybe 3 years later, and Corona hit, and I got brought up into a conversation because I continued to paint, obviously, and they reached out to me, and I was willing to do it, and just kind of build on. But I kept that relationship very, very, very strong, and just not being kind of not annoying, but just staying around, just being present at the right time. I think that's important. You can't let people forget about you. You must stay relevant in ways.
And then I know you said that they gave you full creative control. Is that something you look for when collaborating with brands, or is that something you find often happens?
Yeah, totally. Because I work I work alone. So basically, that's kind of what I expect. I don't really, not that I don't like working with people, but generally when someone gives me a project, it's like, just do your thing, and I like that because I don't have to overthink. I don't have someone overlooking me. And I just get to be my truest self and actually represent myself in the fullest form.
Yeah. So shifting a little bit, we know that you're an ambassador for Project Zero. So we were wondering if you could speak a little bit about sustainability and how you incorporate that into your own art practice.
Right. Project Zero is something that to me it means a lot. Is saving our ocean and our water, and I think that's very, very, very important, especially for the future. And we have to be more vocal about it. And I think for them to make me a brand ambassador, makes to me it's not even a brand ambassador. It's more of a world ambassador because that's something that is gonna, like I said, is gonna help generations if we actually figure it out and have better resources to take care of our waters. And I think we have to have more leadership in those things. And
I agree.
it's just something that shouldn't even be forgotten or overthought. It's just something that should have demand action. And I think, that's just where we have to change.
Are you noticing a shift in the art world as a whole, like leaning towards more sustainable practices, or what have you witnessed?
Yeah, I would say if it's sustainable based off if you're making the right steps. I took this step to become an ambassador because that aligns me with certain, affiliations of just being, sought out or being taken serious. And I think aligning myself with an organization like Project Zero is very serious. It's taken serious, and you have, people that's ambassadors from. You have Carla Devine. You have also Mick Jagger's granddaughter. And I think, aligning myself with those type of people are just putting me in great hands, basically. And I just want to do the good things also, and as we all do. And I think it's just time to just own up, basically.
You have worked with a very impressive resume of brands, like we said, Puma and Saks Fifth Avenue. Are there any brands that you hope to collaborate with in the future?
Actually, yes. I would love to collaborate with Nike. No shame. No
Nike,
shame.
if you're seeing this.
No shame to Puma. And also, I would love to collaborate with Versace. On something.
Amazing.
Really cool brands.
Yeah. So that's something I'm thinking about. But there's more work to do, and there's other great things that's going to happen before those things happen also. So
hopefully soon, though.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
So we're obsessed with your new project with Evil Twin Brewery.
God.
So we'd love to hear more about the process and how that came about.
Well, honestly, I left the studio. I needed a beer. And I actually went there with a friend. I actually sat there, and I had this idea just pop in my head. I was like, what happened if they can actually put my art on a can? So I looked at the manager. I was kind of like getting a little nervous a little bit. I hope he said yeah. I was like, forget it. Worst thing you say no.
Yeah.
So, I called him over. His name's Tanner. So I was like, Tanner, I gotta run something by you. He was like, what? I was like, have you guys ever put like artists' work onto like your bottles or anything? He was like, nah, we kind of thought about it, but we never did it. He's like, you got any of your work? I showed him a couple of my pieces, and he was like, yo, this is sick. He's like, make up something, send it over, and I can present it to their friend. I mean, to the team. And next thing you know, they actually they loved it, and they said they're gonna go to the next step with it, and they called me over. I tasted the beer, and
so you decided what beer?
Not really. I got to taste it and be like.
You're like, it's good.
A little taste test.
Good, I'm wondering if I would have said I didn't like it,
Yeah.
Would they changed it? Probably not.
No.
So they actually they loved it. So today is actually the release of it.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So.
And besides this, do you have any other projects that are happening right now, or do you have anything planned for the future, near future?
Yeah, of course. I'm always working on something. I'm working on actually my first album. It's gonna be 25 tracks. It's gonna be called Sunday Schemes. Releasing it on Sunday. It's gonna be my 32nd birthday.
Wow.
So I'm I'm just thinking outside the box. It don't matter if it's released on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I want her to be more or less, just the symbolic reasoning of me being born that day, me having 25 songs that's actually pretty good. I think they're good, And I've been working on this, I would say, at least 2 years. So it's something that's
a long time.
It's been a long time, or even longer. Some of those songs, a couple songs, a little older. So I'm thinking that is gonna be something special for me, just to release that side of me, and that's something that's that's vocal. It's not, it's not more or less like my hands and my spirit and my in my eyes, opposed to like this is like coming from me. It's like to me it's just a different way of expressing myself, but I think it's the most vulnerable part of me. Also. So I'm actually
project.
getting over a lot of things, by me releasing that, and just but I think that's important of being an artist and being vulnerable and just taking that next step to actually showcase your work, because a lot of times people can be scared to showcase their work because they just don't know where they stand. But and it's not really where you stand, it's about how you feel. And I think if you can get over the fear of, showcasing your stuff, I think that's just a step for you to go further, basically.
So if you've been working on this album for 2 years, how long do you typically work on one of your paintings? Like, do you notice a big difference just because of the time you're spending?
Yeah, totally. I mean, like this painting behind me, like this one. I mean, these paintings are, this particular work you're saying have taken maybe 2 months. From starting that about 2 months ago. But it's all get kind of worked on at one time, at the same time. Then they all get photographed at one time, and I'm like, next, like, and it's just kind of have that kind of cycle of, and I just flow of making my work, from when I'm making a song. And I'm very anal about like when I'm working on something. Like if it's a music song, it's like it has to be finished, or I can't go to the next thing.
That's interesting.
So that's how I know if I'm going to the next thing. It's like if I photograph my painting, that's how I know when it's done. Because I photograph all my artwork also, so I take on all the responsibility. So I basically know where my mind is at all times.
Thank you so much for talking to
Thank
us.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Before we finish,
Thank you guys.
where can people
Ladies.
follow you?
Cavier Art. That's it.
And is there anything else
CAVIEART.
Anything else you want to plug?
Before we're finished.
Get my album, Caviar, is coming soon. Sunday Schemes is coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!